Hi everybody, this is Kelsey. Thanks for stopping by Essentially Booked today. If you do not already do so, I am Essentially Booked on all platforms. I am most active on Instagram, so be sure to give me a follow over there. Today I'm going to be discussing my anticipated releases for May, June, July, and August for summer reading, essentially. I love summer reading guides so much, and a lot of them don't get released until May, so this is just books that are on my radar right now, knowing full well that when one of my book clubs, the Modern Mrs. Darcy Book Club, launches their summer reading guide, when some of the podcasts I listen to launch their summer reading guides, this list will likely be quite extensive and obnoxious, but that's why I love summer reading. So summer reading gets a little out of hand. We will get started. A lot of these are books that I already have copies of on NetGalley and just haven't gotten to yet, and will be reading hopefully in advance of their release. I have a few books that I have on hold at the library, and then a couple others that I've just stumbled upon in the most recent days as I've been doing some research. So let's get started. We will start with May. So May is a pretty heavy publishing month for books that I am really excited about. I think it's just because of how my NetGalley releases have come in and just the knowledge that I have right now. I'm sure if I filmed this at the end of May, my June list would be really long. My May month is definitely my heaviest month as far as releases. So the very first book I'm the most excited for, we'll start with the best, I guess. And these are May 2nd release dates. The very first book I'm excited about is Warrior Girl Unearthed by Angela Booley. And she wrote The Firekeeper's Daughter, which I loved. And I held off on reading that for way too long, and I'm sad that I did. So I actually started Warrior Girl Unearthed last night. I'm going in blind. Just know that it's one of my most anticipated releases. It's an Indigenous fiction crime novel. I would say it's more young adult, new age, if you're looking for a reading level. She's just a fantastic author. The next book I'm excited about is Hula. And this is by Jasmine Iolani Hakes. And it is a book about Hawaii. And it's set in Hilo, Hawaii, which I was there this past summer. And it is like a family saga. I know a lot about Hawaiian culture is colonized, and like the white people have taken over their islands for tourism and whatnot. And so this is a look at like the native people of Hawaii and her story. I am very excited about it. I also have it on audio because I got it from Libro FM. So that's one I'm really excited about. The next one is The Half Moon by Mary Beth Keane. I have not read Ask Again Yes. It's on my list to read here in April, but this just is about a family that owns a bar, and it's very family character driven. So that one sounds really up my alley. The Ferryman by Justin Cronin. I loved The Passage. I have not read the other two books in that series, and I really need to. He writes sci-fi dystopian books. This is about a kind of utopia island that people live on, and I've started it, and it does take place on Earth. So I don't know if this society, I'm not that far in it yet, but if they're like separate kind of through magic, I don't know. But when you're born, you actually live on a different island until you're ferried over to this main island at like the age of 12, I believe. And then you live there until you start to decline in your elderly years, and then you're whisked away to this island again to die. And these people regenerate. He just does really good world building, and he has a really great writing style that I really love. His prior series was horror, so I don't know what this will be, but it is one that I'm very excited about. Patty Callahan Henry is one of my like go-to authors. My church book club, we've read a few books by her, and the book that is coming out May 2nd is The Secret Book of Flora Lee. I will be reading this for another book club, so I'm kind of holding off on this one until that time. For that same book club, I will be reading No Two Persons by Erica Burgemeister, and that book is about the power of reading. One book, 9 readers, 10 changed lives. So it's giving me the reading list vibes, if you know what that book is. So that's another one. And then the other book that is a romance is called The Last Word by Katie Birchall. And this is the blurb is The Hating Game meets Beach Read. So I love The Hating Game. Still haven't read Beach Read. It's on my list to do this summer. It's an enemies to lovers rom-com about a young journalist who puts her career and her heart on the line when her former work nemesis is hired in her newsroom. And then 2 other romances I'm excited about. On May 16th, The True Love Experiment comes out by Christina Lauren. I have loved Christina Lauren's backlist, and I loved, is it The Love Equation by them? Their newest book, Something Wilder, I absolutely hated. And I didn't like In a Holidays either. I don't like their kind of like weird vibe they're getting of late, like Farfetch. I don't know. But True Love Experiment is kind of in the same universe as The Love Equation, so I am pretty excited to see what that is, and I think I will like it. And then the last book in May that I'm really excited about is Once More with Feeling by Elisa Sussman. I read her previous book and really loved it, and so this is just a romance. I really like her writing style. There's Jewish representation usually, and that will be another romance I'm really excited for in May. So now I'm still kind of reading off my laptop, so don't mind me. That's what I was looking over, but I will try to face the camera. June has a few. I really like mythology retellings, but I haven't read one lately that's really captured my interest. So on June 13th, Psyche and Eros comes out, and it's in this utterly transporting reimagining of Greek mythology. The god of desire is cursed to fall for a spirited young mortal woman, but if she looks upon his face, they will be parted forever. An epic adventure and love story for the ages, sure to satisfy fans of Madeline Miller and V.E. Schwab. Okay. Sounds up my alley. And then I've got a romance called Same Time Next Summer, which is out June 6th. That one is about an ultimate summer nostalgia read about an engaged woman who comes face to face with her first love, who she hasn't seen in 14 years, but has spent every summer with them throughout her whole life. This is calling into every question she thought she knew about their love story and herself. Just sounds like a fun summer romance. And I was listening to From the Front Porch, which is a podcast by Annie B. Jones, and she talked about this book called The Rachel Incident. And I know very little about it, but it is a brilliantly funny novel about friends, lovers, Ireland, and chaos, and a young woman desperately trying to manage all three. I love most books Annie B. Jones recommends. So as soon as that one came out, I was like, yeah, that sounds like one I want to read in June. Speak of the Devil by Rose Wilding. I got an advanced review copy of this one. 7 women inextricably linked by one man must figure out which of them killed him in order to protect one another in this electrifying debut thriller. One more is The Banyan Tree. I'm reading this for the Modern Mrs. Darcy book club for the summer, and this is a generational family saga set in Florida but dealing with Vietnam. I think like the Vietnam War will be a backdrop. Historical fiction, really sweeping, and there hasn't been a lot of buzz about it yet, but I do think it will be one that does get a lot of buzz as it comes out. The rest of the books in June are 2 are romances, and then one is the only one left by Riley Sager. Like, I don't really need to preface why I want to read that. It's Riley Sager, so that will be definitely on my list. And then Much Ado About Nada by Uzma Jalaluddin. She is kind of a go-to romance author for me. She does Muslim representation really well. Her prior 2 books were retellings of like Pride and Prejudice, and I can't remember what the other one was. Emma, maybe? And so this one, Much Ado About Nada, Much Ado About Nothing. I'm just gonna go into it blind. They're very clean, closed-door romances if you like that with Muslim representation. I am not a huge clean romance reader, but she is just such a great author, and I love what she's doing as far as just cultural representation and all of that. Her books are just wonderful. And then finally, Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I'm excited for this. I have enjoyed her previous books. However, they're all the same. This will be about a really tall guy, a really short girl, miscommunication issues, scientists, but it does it for me for some reason. Like, I know it will be predictable. I know it will be what I want it to be, but it won't be anything like spectacular is kind of what I'm guessing, because the other 2 weren't, but like, I really enjoyed them, so. But my money is on there being like an Adam Driver main character, a short girl main character, they fall in love, you know. Okay, so that was June, and then now we're gonna talk about July releases. I don't have very many on my radar right now, but the ones I do have is The Duchess Effect by Tracy Livesay. This is the 2nd book in her series about, it kind of is based on Meghan and Prince Harry. It's a rapper from the United States who falls in love with a prince and kind of the fallout from that, the relationship, whatever. I was not expecting it to be a series. I didn't love the first one, but I still want to read it because that's just who I am. I'm hoping it kind of picks up a little bit. So this is the 2nd book in that series. They've just gone public with their relationship, and now it's navigating that. The second one is The Sun in the Void, and this one is by Gabriela Romero LaCruz, and the cover was really pretty. That's the only reason why I selected it. But then this is set in a lush world of ancient magic, inspired by the history and folklore of colonial South America. This sweeping epic fantasy follows 2 young women on a quest for belonging. And I haven't read a lot of South American cultural anything, South American books, so that's why I was intrigued by this one. And then The Housekeepers by Alex Hay is more of a thriller, I believe, and this is the night of London's grandest ball. A bold group of women downstairs launch a daring revenge heist against Mayfair society. in this dazzling historical novel about power, gender, and class. So just kidding, not a thriller. But it kind of sounds like Downton Abbey-esque, but from the view of the help. And then finally, I have Burn the Negative, and this is a horror novel set in Hollywood, and it sounded just really intriguing, and I think it's gonna have like a mixed media format when you read it. So that one is one I just think looks interesting. Finally, in August, I have 3 books that I am very excited about. The very first one is Big Little Spells by Hazel Beck. I loved the first one, which was Small Town Big Magic in that series, and I will say this is probably one of my most anticipated books by far this year. Getting approved for that on NetGalley made me very happy. It's about like a small Gilmore Girls-esque town that has magic, and they're fighting like ancient powers to survive with all the stuff. There's romance, there's like found family. Ann Patchett has a new book coming out called Tom Lake, and it's fiction. I think it is about 3 girls going to their mother to learn about like her love story. We recently read These Precious Days for a book club I'm in, and I love Ann Patchett's writing. So now I'm like, I gotta read her entire backlist, but she has a new book in August, so that's one I'm very excited about. And then finally, Sarah MacLean's newest book is called Knockout, and this is the 3rd book in the series of the Hell's Bells series. It's about like a group of friends who aren't really like into society, and they just do their own thing. They kind of have a little girl gang in Regency era London. And so this book is about Imogen, who likes to blow things up. She's like a scientist, and the detective who keeps getting assigned all these cases of the chaos the girls do. And her books are steamy, her books are so fun. I will read anything. She is by far my auto-buy author for anything. So I actually need to get this pre-ordered so that it arrives in time. But that would be my books in August. As summer reading guides release, I'm going to definitely be adding more to this list of books I'm excited for, but right now those are the ones that are on my radar that I'm the most excited about. If you've read advanced review copies of any of these, let me know your thoughts. If there's any you're excited about, let me know in the comments. But as always, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. And I love to discuss books with all of you. I'm so grateful for all of you. And until the next video, bye.